John here. So in the video before this one, I answered a question from one of you guys about position shifting and how to get that clean. And I basically outlined the principles that I use to get that down. And short recap is have as little pressure as possible, so only as much as you need. And also working with transition time as you practice this is very helpful. But you can check that video out. I'm going to link that at the end of this one. In this one, I just wanted to show you exactly what you can practice to work on this. And obviously you can practice pretty much anything that involves position shifting. But this particular exercise also serves as a really good way to get your hands synchronized for alternate picking. It's going to be a single string exercise. We're going to do it on all 6 strings. I'm not going to play through it on all 6 strings. I'm not going to play all the combinations. I'm going to play one combination, and I'm going to play it on the thin E string and the thick E string, just so you can hear the way that it should sound on a thinner string and a thicker string. So I've actually got a lot of feedback about that when I've been sort of practicing in front of you. That is a good thing, even though, you know, many of you might not watch the whole thing. It can at least give you an idea of what it should sound like when you practice in the way that I advise you to do. All right, so the exercise itself is very simple. So it's just going to be using 3-finger combinations. And we have 4 of those. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. And what we want to do here is that if we use 1, 3, 4 as an example, you play 1, 3, 4, and then you shift up and go down 4, 3, 1. So it's still the same finger combination, but you ascend and you descend. And then you do that all up and down the fretboard, while thinking about these things, meaning not applying too much pressure with the thumb. Basically, my thumb is just gliding along here across on the back of the fretboard, and I use, you know, as little pressure as I can get away with, which means that it's way easier to change positions, and that in turn will help me with the next important part, which is transition time, which means that I try to hold on to the note that I'm on for as long as possible, for its full duration, and then move quickly instead. Because when you do that, you get a minimum amount of noise in between the notes. And also it's really good for your synchronization overall. So I'm just starting this with a downstroke and then alternate pick from there. So I'm going to play this now on the high E string. I'm going to use 1, 3, 4 for this. When you do this yourself, you want to look out for any type of sliding noises or any type of flams, meaning something is not synchronized. So you don't want to get that, you want to get that. So that's the 2 things to look out for. So it should sound something like this. Quick transitions and very small amount of pressure. And when I turn it around, I start on the highest finger of the pattern, so the pink in this case, and I start on the top fret. And I think it's harder to move this way than that way, so I have to focus a bit more on this way back. And if you find that you're the same, or either way that sound feels worse, don't feel that you have to keep both directions at the same tempo. You can change the tempo. So the most important thing here is that you get you don't make mistakes as you practice. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing on the low E string. You should, however, do this on all strings. So don't do what I do here. Do only one fingering and then going from the only the high E string and the low E string. This is just to show you what it should sound like on the wound strings as well. Because I got a question on the previous video where what you do on the wound strings is harder, but it's not really harder. Well, it might be harder, but it's not anything different that I'm thinking about. It's still about the pressure and moving quickly. So let's give that a try. And then we turn it around. So my thumb is very light. So I don't know if you could see that, but you kind of don't even need it necessarily. But of course it feels awkward not to have the thumb on. But if you ever feel tension in your thumb, you're definitely pressing too hard. And that goes for power chords and everything on the guitar basically. So the thumb should just be there to help you, balance the hand and not be this sort of vice grip of like really trying to push hard to get the nose to sound. That should come from your left hand. And usually if you really tried that type of thing, you're gonna find that you need way less pressure than you might think. And it's gonna differ from guitar to guitar, so absolutely experiment with that. But try this exercise, and like I said, you want to use 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and go up and down on all 6 strings. So this exercise might take a little while, but if you have less time, I would focus on doing the 1, 2, 4 and 1, 3, 4 first. But the 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3, 4 are really good fingerings to be comfortable with as well. You might think that 2, 3, 4 is like, why would that be good? Where do you need to use that? But the thing is, working on these 3 will help balance your overall hand, because as you probably have seen in your own playing, or someone else is playing, that people tend to avoid the pinky instead, so they use these 3 a lot. So by working on these 3, you're going to balance your hand in a much better way. So don't see it as something that you would necessarily use in a solo, but like I said, it's more like a thing to get your technique. Back in the day, I used to have real issues with fast alternate picking when it came to 2 notes per string. I was fine with 3 notes per string, but the 2 notes per string thing was a bit harder to crack. So if you struggle with fast alternate picking as well, and you don't know what to practice or for how long, I've created the perfect solution for you in the form of the Pentatonic Picking Power Book. So in this book, you'll find a daily workout that will not only help your pentatonic picking, but will also upgrade your overall alternate picking technique. So it contains basically the same exercises I use myself to develop my picking abilities, as well as numerous students over the years that I've given the same exercise to with great results. So I know these exercises work as long as you put in the work. So it's not a quick solution or quick fix. It will still take a lot of work, but at least you have a very easy to follow routine. So if you're up for a big alternate picking upgrade in 2024, I cannot think of a better start. It's $9 and I think it's very underpriced, but I did it that way just so as many people as possible could be helped by this. So check that out.